Summer break is over. We've got your Dutch Grand Prix predictions, and Max Verstappen might come out of the weekend with 2 new records. 1 in wins and 1 criminal. This is Into the Chicane, a Formula One podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Channing Apodaca.
I'm Brandon Wood.
Please, guys, remember to subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. I think that's the best one of the social medias I've ever done. Been really shit in the bed doing those, but that one felt good. How are you doing, Brandon?
Doing great. Summer break, just about over.
Yeah.
Racing is back, baby. Let's go.
I got my end of summer break wake up this morning like I had to go back to school. It's a pretty abrupt wake up for me.
Oh, yeah. So I showed up real early. This is a lot earlier than we're normally recording.
Yeah. But to say that you showed up, I mean, I'll eat crow on this. You said it wasn't that early. You showed up at 10 a.m.
Yeah. Technically, I got here at like 10:15.
Yeah, I mean, technically, you were on time, too. We said we were going to record at 10 a.m. I've been getting... Well, it starts off like this. I ate a very late and heavy dinner last night.
Like normal.
But it was a little heavier than usual. I had 2 pieces of tri-tip steak at like midnight and a sandwich.
And a sandwich?
And a sandwich. And then I woke up at like 4 or 5 in the morning because I've been getting bit by bugs. I've been covered in bug bites. They're on my arms. They're on my biceps, my fingers. And the fingers are the worst.
Yeah, your hands are like swollen.
Yeah, this, like, the backside of my palm is swollen, but, like, on the edges of my fingers. So I woke up, like, scratching the shit out of my hands, and then I couldn't fall back asleep. So I took a weed gummy, another weed gummy, because I had originally taken one to fall asleep, and then at about 5, 6 in the morning, I took another weed gummy that knocked me the fuck out, and I woke up, checked my phone, saw that you had taken pictures inside my apartment. Basically like a robber playing cat and mouse games, saying that you're here. Calls coming from inside the house, and I come stumbling out, just like red-eyed and loopy as fuck. I'm still a little bit...
Yeah, I mean, that gummy's still in your system right now.
Oh, I'm out to... To
lunch?
I'm out to lunch right now.
Out to brunch.
I'm out to frickin' mimosas.
Oh, man.
I'm on Queer Street. Anyways, we got the podcast up and running.
We're here.
We are live. We are ready to go. Is this real?
Yeah,
okay.
It's here. I mean, you had told me before when we were making plans for today that you had like this whole thing you wanted to get into.
Yeah, what was it? Podcasting? No. Well, first let's go over, let's just break down what's happening. So it's the Dutch Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah.
We've been gone from racing for what? How long is it? A month? Month and a half?
About 4 weeks, yeah.
Is it 4 weeks?
I think so, yeah.
Might be exactly 4 weeks. Coming back from the break, all sorts of storylines going in. McLaren's hot. Daniel Ricciardo is back on the grid. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I feel like my headphones are jacked. Okay.
You're good.
But I think the biggest storyline, not the funniest storyline, but I think the biggest storyline actually in F1 is that Red Bull just came off their record-breaking win at Spa, where they took the consecutive constructors wins because you factor in Checo's 2 wins this season, and I think that put them at what, 10? 12? 12, right? Because it was 14 races to start. One of them didn't happen.
Yeah, so 13 plus
13.
2 or 3 at the end of last year, right?
Yes, but I don't know if they factor those into... It's most... I mean, that's definitely the most in a row, but what the records... Like how the record book holds it is most in a season.
Okay.
Consecutive. I think. Don't quote me on that. I'm high. But the big one that we're looking for this weekend is that Max Verstappen can win or not win, but take sole ownership of the record from Sebastian Vettel, who also won the consecutive wins record with Red Bull. Take that this weekend at his home race, which would be pretty historic, right? That'd be like, I mean, that'd be, what's the comparable? I don't know. I'm trying to think of something like, the Chicago Bulls back in their like day of dominance. The I don't know if there's a comparable because it's an individual sport, or a 50-50 individual sport. But with something like this going on, and this, look at me going crazy on my bug bites. Something like this going on, how do you feel about the season as a whole? Because the overarching story of this season has been boring.
Yeah.
From not us. I mean, we've said it 100%. But like the fans in general. And how do you think that this entire Red Bull saga with them breaking this record, Max getting set to most likely break this record, right? I think he's dominated Zandvort by seconds the past 2 years that it's been back.
Yeah. I understand on one hand why people think it's boring to watch Red Bull win every weekend, but at the same time, there's still a lot of great racing happening up and down the grid. So to me, there's always something to be interested in. And meanwhile, you know, I think it's pretty awesome that Red Bull's been able to do what they've done this year and in past 2 years, really.
Yeah.
So to see Max break this streak, I think is pretty cool. Personally, it's cool to be able to like see these things happen in real time. You know, just 10 years ago now that Seb, you know, set this record. So
yeah,
in 10 years we'll be thinking back, oh, I remember when Max broke that record.
Exactly.
You know,
and that's kind of like I guess that's a better fit for like the Chicago Bulls type of analogy, where if you were alive in the day to see Michael Jordan and the dynasty Chicago Bulls be doing their thing, those might have been pretty boring games to watch. And you know, them blowing
they just win
out
every weekend. Yeah.
They're winning every single game. Michael Jordan's dominating, but you're also witnessing history. And so even if you can't appreciate the good racing that's coming from the back and the middle of the pack, and I know a lot of people struggle with that, especially coming off of a season like 2021 where you might not get another season ever like that.
Yeah.
Ever again. It was a dogfight every single weekend for first place.
Sure, yeah.
Between the two greatest drivers in the world at that time. And now we're having to look towards the back of the pack and look at drivers who don't even have points and see how they're doing to get a little bit of excitement. But we're seeing something very special happen. And I think that if you're one of the people who can't appreciate middle-of-the-pack racing or find the excitement, I think you got to kind of at least appreciate that you're watching something very spectacular happening in the world of sports. And people here in the United States probably won't. Let's say Max and Red Bull skunk the rest of the season. Yeah. They just go, what is it from here on out? 10-0.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it'll be.
There's
10 more races.
Yeah.
Or let's say, if that's it. That's astonishing.
Yeah, that'd be great to see.
And with what's going on, I think you almost, now that it's at the halfway point, I've had my issues with the excitement levels of the season, but you almost have to be in favor of that just to see something happen. Do I want to see another team win a race? Absolutely. But if it doesn't happen, you have to just sit back and be like, I mean, holy shit, what an accomplishment. And Max being two away from potentially going for a perfect season.
Yeah, totally. I think he's, it's also one thing too that people I think are maybe overlooking a little bit. You know, everyone wants to say, oh, the Red Bull is so much better this year than every other team, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, like, yes, it is better, but to the degree to which they're dominating everybody else is also, and or at least more specifically that Max is dominating everybody else, I think he's definitely shown how excellent of a driver he is and how he's able to get the most out of that maybe already, you know, slightly better car than everybody else. But he's making the most out of it.
He's getting more out of a great car than most other drivers would. Like, let's not forget that Sergio Perez is a world-class driver.
Yeah.
I think Sergio Perez in any other season against any other teammate could actually viably be competing for a world championship. And he's really out of, not even in the question anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think Max is a few races away from sealing up the season early.
Yeah. I have to do the math, but
I did the math. It's like a 100 points or so difference, but like, you know, that margin shrinks significantly as each race goes. As every race goes on.
Points go away. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, he's literally wringing the towel of this already amazing car and turning into just greatness. Like, we're literally witnessing an actual prodigy at the peak performance levels of what's capable. And I think that's what, like, you have to appreciate with the Red Bull team going into the season, is that they know what they have in Max, and they literally had to go, like, that's why they went out and they bought, homeboy from Mercedes. I forget what his name is. That's why they go and put together the best engineers and the best pit team, because you have to build your team around your star. Your star is Max Verstappen. In any other sport, look at, I have to just go off of hockey, but, the Edmonton Oilers have the greatest player in the world, Connor McDavid. You now need to put together a supporting cast of players that can push that.
100%.
And they've done that. And so you got to just appreciate that, I think, as fans. I know this is not the most exciting season, and it's not going to be. The best we can hope for is a little bit of rain every weekend, and then maybe a Nico Hulkenberg or somebody gets on the podium, and that's good enough. But we can look back on this in years and be like, one of two situations. One, Max Verstappen was just light years above everybody else. Or, holy shit, man, he missed that one race from like a damn near perfect season. Something goes wrong, and that DNF that we all kind of in the back of our minds are hoping for, a couple years down the road, be like, fuck, man, that guy really deserved that.
Yeah. I mean, just as a team, if they're able to get through the whole season without a DNF too, I mean, that's that in itself is a feat.
Yeah, I mean, were there any teams in the last few years that have done that?
It's just gone. I'm sure there has been.
Yeah.
But I feel like just in the past couple of years, the cars have been more reliable just in general.
Most cars have. I mean, the Haas's have, and the Haas's and the Ferraris have an unbelievable amount of DNFs these past few years. Max had, he had a DNF that wasn't his fault. Totally Pirelli's fault in Baku. Yeah. But I just, I mean, it was just something I was thinking about as we hit this, this midway point, being like, the tables have shifted and what to look for and what to be excited for this season. And now it's time we just get on board.
Yeah. Now that the fight for the championship is over pretty much, let's see him break some records. Let's see some history being made.
Yeah. We're now literally just all along for the ride with Max.
So Max may actually have some complications, though. I don't know if you saw the video from this past week. Max doing a little joyriding out in the streets of Monaco.
Yeah, he was in a Aston Martin Valkyrie.
Yeah, it's a Newey designed.
Adrian Newey designed.
Aston Martin. Yeah.
When did he design this?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I know that he was a part of this project, so I don't know if you saw this video.
Yeah, so he's going through the tunnel of Monaco,
going 120.
Yeah, so this car looks insane too. If you haven't seen it, look up the Aston Martin Valkyrie. It looks like a video game car. What are you looking at?
The car. The Aston Martin Valkyrie.
It looks like an LMP1 car.
It's pretty sick. But anyways, the video shows Max driving his very expensive, newly designed Aston Martin down through the streets of Monaco, going 120 kilometers an hour into 90, with one hand off the steering wheel, playing with the touchscreen.
Which isn't illegal.
And he has a headset on, which comes with the car. It's like specifically done because the car's so loud. It comes with like a noise canceling headset. And apparently wearing a headset while you're driving is illegal in Monaco.
It's illegal in California too. I can tell that. I can tell you that from experience. The Burbank PD got me on that one a few years ago.
Yeah. So people are saying that Max could potentially get into some legal trouble for this. It was going.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say it was bouncing around that he could potentially go to jail.
Yeah, they're looking at it very seriously. Yeah. Apparently, as what is it, like human endangerment, endangering the lives of others
Yeah.
for, aggressive speeding, which, okay. I'm all for nobody's above the law. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Right?
But,
In most cases. However, this is potentially the greatest car driver on the planet. Might go down at the end of his career as the greatest driver to ever live. Remains to be seen. Maybe we can talk about that in a little bit. On a street he is very familiar with, in a car designed by an engineer who has literally designed cars to fit him. I think we can let this one slide. Because if we reiterate this, let's just frame it in another way. You guys want to punish the greatest driver in the world, the greatest race car driver in the world, for speeding.
Yeah.
You want to send him to jail for it. I think it's just them trying to look like they're doing the right thing.
Sure, yeah. I mean, when these types of clips go out on social media, like a bunch of people are gonna raise alarm to it, and I think that the Principality of Monaco has to like look like they're gonna
address it and acknowledge it.
Yeah, but
and then go.
If anything, he might get a fine, and somebody like Max who can afford to pay a fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why most at least that's my theory, and why most of the time when you see somebody with a like nice car and they're speeding and driving like assholes, it's because they can afford the ticket and they don't really care.
Yeah, 100%. In most cases, I'd be like, what a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like you see somebody driving up and down the streets of LA in a Lamborghini, I won't even look at them. One, I hate Lamborghinis. I think that's an ugly car.
It's terrible.
If it was a McLaren or a Ferrari, I'd probably give it a glance.
Yeah.
Lamborghini, ugh, disgusting. But those types of fucking douchebags who are just at red lights, revving their engine, trying to get looked at.
Yeah.
And hey, man, if it was me, I might be doing the same thing. Because you did just spend a lot on that car. And
you got to get something out of it.
It's not to be kept in a garage. But this is Max fucking Verstappen. He's in this literal futuristic car that has a racing steering wheel, paddle shift, touch screen, all this bullshit.
Yeah.
He's basically doing like a commercial for the sport and for the Principality of Monaco by putting that video out. Also, who released that video? Who took that? Was it Kelly?
Not Kelly, like her cousin or like her sister or something like that.
Oh, scandalous.
So, I thought this was interesting that people, were thinking he might go to jail. Although I don't know if it's Monaco that's going to be going after Max. I think he could be in trouble somewhere else.
Where?
So Max, he's from the Netherlands. Like, right, that's he races under the Dutch flag.
He races under a Dutch super license.
But he resides in Monaco, right? Which is a very famously known as a tax haven. So Max Verstappen doesn't pay any income tax to the Netherlands.
Even though he races under their license.
So the Netherlands has like a 50% like tax rate for people. So someone like him, he's avoiding a lot of tax payments to the Netherlands government by living in Monaco. And he's come under fire from this earlier, like in June, that he and his team had to put out a statement about him doing this. So, I think he really needs to be worried about being in Netherlands this weekend and he doesn't get caught up in some way. You never know.
Are you thinking that like the feds might be waiting for him?
They may come after him with a bill while he's there. A little.
They serve him.
Get served. You never know.
Really? Is there a story behind this?
Sure. Yeah. You can look it up. Back in June, he came under fire. Like they had to make a statement about his.
I mean, is there anything new that's come out? I'm not going to look it up right now.
I mean, nothing
official.
This, but I'm being.
This is a hunch you have.
This is a very big hunch. I think he needs to be worried more about being arrested in the Netherlands.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a hefty bill if they hit him with that because his income these past few years has been
exactly
upwards of 88 million.
Yeah, and as he does better, and the more he touts the Netherlands, I mean, I think they're going to want a piece of that.
They might, but then you also run the risk of a guy like Max Verstappen just going, all right, and then I'll race under a fucking Belgian license. I don't know if you can switch it, but maybe he just denounces his Dutch heritage, races under, goes and files the paperwork. I don't know what needs to be done, but says that he wants to race under a Belgian license. You think the Belgian people, the Belgian government wouldn't snatch him up and give him a tax discount real quick? Also, you think
an international draft for Max Verstappen? All the countries bid to.
Yeah, who wants him?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, too, though. Are they doing all of this to other drivers? Because most drivers also live in Monaco.
Yeah, I know.
You know, a lot of other drivers.
Charles
does. Alex
there,
does.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Carlos does a certain amount of the year. It's a real fucking haven for just studs, you know, inside and outside of the sport. But do you think that the country of Netherlands was going after Nick de Vries?
No, he's not making enough.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's another thing of like, I guess that story kind of comes full circle of, you know, nobody's above the law. So they really need to go after Nick de Vries as well if they're going to go after Max Verstappen.
Yeah, no, I mean.
No, that's interesting.
So.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I want to keep on the topic of, because we got plenty of time. I want to keep on the topic of.
Yeah, I got 3 hours until my car starts.
Yeah. We're literally just in the service lobby. But on the topic of Max Verstappen and his career and like just the way everything looks with the way that this year is going, because he's said publicly a bunch of times that he has no interest in longevity in this sport. So if he joins the three-time championship club this year, which is a big deal. That's like one of the big thresholds, right? I think that's like where Ascari left off or Fangio, one of those old school guys, Prost, Senna.
Mm-hmm.
I think are both three-timers. So it's a big deal to get into the three-timer club. A bigger deal to get into the four-timer club because that's only 3 or 4 people.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say he gets into the three-time club this season. We'll probably get into the four-time club next season. What's his outlook? Because he said that if Formula One wants to keep putting on... Oh, sorry. I'm playing footsie with you. Wants to keep adding races or keep the races above 20, that he has no interest in staying in long term and would rather chase down something like Le Mans. I think he's expressed a little bit of interest in Indy, so basically saying that he wants to try for the Triple Crown, which if he's going to do that right, he's going to need to spend a season in Indy. Like nobody transfers over to Indy from F1 over a year and gets the Triple Crown. Maybe it's been done years ago.
Yeah, I mean,
but like Fernando Alonso,
there have been drivers that
there.
made attempts at the Indy 500, and you know,
but they're doing it as a one-off. You know,
sure, and that's what I think it would be closer to. It would be like a year or two where Max is doing the circuit, right? Like he's doing a bunch of one-off races that he wants to do. You know, he could throw Le Mans in there, stuff like that.
His best opportunity at winning the Indy 500 is spending a full season with a team in a car, getting oval track, you know, when they're doing all the other road courses. I forget which ones they race, but there's a handful of them on there. Or not road courses, circle tracks, getting used to the car as opposed to just doing a one-off. Because that doesn't seem to work out so great for guys. But what do you think his longevity in the sport is? Does he actually follow through with what he's saying? If his dominance continues, do you think he goes for the Lewis and the Schumacher record? Does he go for the ending his career as the greatest of all time?
I think he has it in him to go after it. You know, he definitely has that desire, I think, to be the best. You know, even if he doesn't state it explicitly, I still think he has it. I mean, his dedication and focus for this long has been so strong. It's like he might as well keep the train rolling.
I think I could see him doing either or. So like, yeah, I could see him having the drive to want to go for like the number of wins record, championships. But if he gets one certain record, 1 or 2 specific records, I think that'll be good enough for him. Like, I think had he gotten a perfect season this year, like I've said it before, I think that's why he was so pissed off at his losses, his second places, which you should never be pissed off at a second place. You know, I mean, if it depends which second place. If it's a second place for the championship or something like Lewis, yeah.
Yeah.
But a second place or a podium is always a good thing, especially when you close the gap the way that Max did in those races. But I think had he gotten like the perfect season this year, that would heavily weigh on his decision for how long he wants to stay, because that's a record that puts you into the discussion for greatest of all time, whether you have the championship numbers or not.
Mm-hmm. So we saw Latifi going and studying after racing. It was now announced that Nick DeVries is going to go study at Harvard. After Max retires.
Oh, shit.
Where is he going to go to school and what is he going to study?
I think he's going to go to the iRacing Academy.
The iRacing? I mean, he's already like...
He's a professional. Well, that's what one of the things that he said he's expressed interest in too is just doing sim racing. But he'd probably maybe he'd go to Harvard Law so he can learn to get himself out of these such sticky situations.
Yeah, he's gonna go study accounting,
get himself a law degree. Yeah, he's gonna get a major in law and a minor in
international finance,
business finance. Max Verstappen. I'll be representing myself. That was a terrible Max Verstappen.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. Also, we didn't address our scripts from last week.
Oh yeah,
that was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Jackson has expressed vehement interest in bringing the Racemans to life someday.
Oh yeah, he should.
It was a good script.
Yeah, said make a great TikTok, something like that. He could definitely do it on green screen, no problem.
Oh yeah. Oh, just like leaving it as the 2-page script that it was.
Yeah, just set up the green screen over there. You guys just shoot it one day. No problem.
Get the original cast back together.
Yeah.
What else?
Be done for more. I mean, if you want, I got some listener questions that have been submitted. We can go through. Yeah. So on
are these real listener questions or are these?
No, these are real. So like on Spotify, on each episode, we usually post like a poll or a question, whatever. At the bottom, listeners can submit their own questions.
Okay.
So we can just roll through a couple of these if you want.
Okay.
This first one is from Terry. Word is out this week that Alex Albon has been contacted by 5 different teams. Who do you think that they are?
Ooh, we talked about this through the DM chats on our Instagram. You sent me this, and I think my response was, "Told you, biatch." Who are they? Is this 5 teams outside of Williams, or is Williams?
I mean, I would assume so, because the way that I saw, like in what you sent, was that it was like 5 separate teams,
5 brand new teams
reached out to him in hopes to sign him. So if he's already got a more longer term deal with Williams, I would assume that does not include them.
Man, and his contract is up 2024, right?
I think so.
And that's the end of 2024. It's not going into the 2024 season.
Yeah.
So it's a buyout.
Yeah, if he would be signed for next year, then yeah, they would probably have to buy him out.
My guess is Ferrari, Audi. I would not be shocked in the least to find out that one of them was AlphaTauri.
Okay.
With them planning to drive the RB19 next year, or a car similar to the RB19, that's an incentive.
Okay.
God damn, 5 is so much. Aston Martin?
I would say possibly, yeah.
Where am I at?
That's 4.
Red Bull? No, sorry. AlphaTauri, Ferrari, Aston Martin. Wait, that's 3.
Wait, you said a 4th one, though.
Audi.
Audi, yeah.
And if Audi were to snatch him up, they'd be keeping him on retainer, right?
Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
God. I'm shuffling the deck chairs. I'm moving so many pieces around in my head. I don't see it being a...
Haas?
No.
You don't think so?
I don't know why. I just don't see that fit.
Ferrari?
I said Ferrari. I think Ferrari's one. I don't see that fit either. Like, he doesn't have the edge. Ferrari was my first guess, and that's where I kind of want him to go, just for the appeal of it. But he doesn't have the edge of a Ferrari driver. Like, you have to fit the archetype to go to Ferrari, and Alex kind of isn't that guy. But maybe they build him up to be that guy. Like, they put him in a brand new pair of shiny boots, throw some sunglasses on him, and they start reimagining who Alex Albon is. They GQ him up. 5 teams, though.
So
Red Bull, maybe? McLaren?
I don't know. So there's another question that we got from, this one's from John Q. If Lewis Hamilton were to retire next year, who should take his place?
It's a good question. Holy shit, you think Mercedes could have been one of those teams contacting Alex Albon?
That's what I think. They have a longer term, he's a longer term deal with Williams, right? And Williams has a very strong Mercedes connection. You know? That
is a picture perfect fit. Him and George Russell are best friends.
Okay, they would get along.
Mercedes didn't even pop into my head when I was trying to come up with those 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a strong British connection, you know. He's half Thai, half British, right? So
yeah, he drives under the Thai license.
Mm-hmm.
He's also bringing in big money, and I think he's going to bring in a lot more Thai money in the next few years if he keeps this shit up.
Yeah,
which is something very appealing to Mercedes or any team. Ooh, I like that one. The one outlier for me is the AlphaTauri or Red Bull in those 5-team equations.
Yeah, I know you're big on the Alex going back to Red Bull, but I think he's ended that chapter of his life.
I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but if we're asking who's inquired about him,
yeah, you feel
100%.
They could be. Yeah, I feel like they could potentially reach out to him.
I think it's almost a guarantee that it's one of those two.
Yeah,
that they've just reached out to him about rejoining the Red Bull family.
Yeah, way more likely that it was AlphaTauri than Red Bull.
Yeah, and their appeal for it would be, hey, I don't know if you heard the news, but we're cheating next year.
Do whatever we want.
Yeah, we're doing the dumbest thing imaginable. Do you want to race under Hugo Boss Bulls? What was the name?
Yeah, that was it. That was terrible.
You want to be a Hugo Boss Bull driver? Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see the Mercedes thing. You know, when you kind of just picture which suit they look best in. That's kind of it.
Plus, like, his personality fits. He's so like proper and nice and like such a gentleman.
I think he would be like everything that they want in George. He's like a little bit of a mix of Lewis and George. He's proper. He's kind. You know how Lewis has that little bit of like shy boy confidence?
Yeah.
Alex is like the ultimate shy boy.
I think Lewis has way more swag though.
Oh, 100%. I mean, he looks like a walking Lego.
Yeah, swag on fleek.
Yeah, for real.
So next one is from let's do this one from Vanessa. Which driver is most likely to not return next year?
Did you chat GPT these questions?
No, these are real.
Okay. Well, one time we did questions and they came from like Snoop Dogg AI and like Hillary Clinton, and
that was very early on. We were messing around. So these are real.
Okay. What was the question?
Which driver is most likely to not return next year?
Kevin Magnussen.
Really? You think he's checking out?
He's on a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah, no. Haas hasn't made any announcements for their team next year.
I think that's an open-ended question because I think there's more than one.
Okay. Well, who's most likely?
I guess that's how it was worded. Well, let's break it down. Let's go. I think Valtteri Bottas is a likely candidate. I think Kevin Magnussen is a likely candidate. I think Logan Sargent could be a candidate for that.
That's who I think is most likely to not be here.
But I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. I think
you understand that?
I understand.
So we'll throw him in the equation. Who else? Spit out some names. I think Lewis is an option.
It's definitely possible.
They do technically according to them, have a handshake agreement for him to return, which maybe that could be one of the big news stories that we hear in this coming out of this weekend. Is that, oh, hey, we're back to racing, and guess what? You're 7-time world champion, 8 in some people's mind. Lewis Hamilton is returning for one more year under the Mercedes banner. That's a beautiful story coming out of the break. But he's in the equation. You could probably throw Checo in there.
You could, yeah. But if we're going most likely, for me, it's definitely Logan, and then maybe about 5 or 10% less likely Daniel Ricciardo won't be here.
Yeah, I was going to say Daniel Ricciardo too. I could see a world where Yuki Tsunoda doesn't come back for at least a year.
Yeah, it took a year off
if
before he
Red Bull
starts
wants
his new
to,
team.
Yeah, before he gets that Aston Martin drive.
Yeah.
I want to present a world where logic and reason rule and money doesn't have so much of a factor, and say, in the next few years, if not next year, there's a good chance that Lance Stroll is no longer on the grid. I think that conversation really needs to start coming up.
Did you see the story today on the grumblings that
I don't know if you remember, but I just woke up.
So I saw this morning on Twitter. I didn't get a chance to look into it yet, but apparently Lance said that he's interested in a tennis career after racing.
Then he's going to need to get a jump soon and start stretching.
So does that mean it's in the works? He's been out there training now that his wrists are back to normal.
Now that he goes from a wrist injury to tennis elbow. He's using F1 as a means to heal his wrists and get him in shape to take on Roger Federer. What an easy out for him, though.
Yeah.
To go, it was actually my decision that I wanted to pursue a tennis career as opposed to keeping my seat in F1, which I totally could have had.
Yeah.
There was no pressure from the investment groups or the board of governors of Aston Martin to push my dad into letting me go. No, this was my decision. I'm Lance Stroll, tennis star now.
Yeah, I mean, he can keep a lot of the same sponsorships, the watch sponsor, it's a lot of the same stuff.
Henry, or what is it, Richard Mill?
No, I don't know who Aston Martin is, but
wow, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So next one is
who are we landing on?
Most likely?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's either Logan or Daniel.
That's who you think?
Mm-hmm.
I think my obvious one is Kevin Magnussen or Valtteri Bottas. What's Bottas's contract? Is he 1 year?
I think he's still on for next year.
Then that would I could see them hanging on to him until the transition. Then I will go. I'm just going to go solely Kevin Magnussen.
Okay.
I think with Haas coming around the bend, he has been absolute dog shit. And they're going to want to put somebody in there who can complement Nico's consistency.
Okay.
And I think Williams gives, in this scenario, Williams gives Logan Sargent another year to prove himself.
Okay. I just got a couple more here. This one's from Carlos. Which driver do you think had the best summer break?
I didn't pay attention, honestly. I don't watch a whole lot of their off-season antics. I know I saw a couple guys on vacation.
Yeah, I know Valtteri's been doing his little tour. He did his little Aspen thing. He hit the breweries. He's always having a good time. I think he could be up there. I know Lando posted some videos of him. Mm-hmm. Maybe Max driving around on his Valkyrie. I know he was out on a yacht.
I mean, comparatively to the rest of our lives, they all had a great month.
Yeah. Maybe Max is the one who's most not stressed about the rest of the
Yeah, I think
season.
I actually heard an interview with him, and they asked him how he felt about the time off and whether or not he was excited. And he kind of said that he was mostly not anxious, but just, I guess, excited to get back and just finish the job, and that he wanted to go back. So I would take him off the list in terms of having a good summer.
Because he's just worried about getting back.
He's just ready to get back to work. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, K-Mag, he's got his new baby at home, so he's all busy with that, not sleeping. So
He's out there getting sunburns.
yeah, I'd say probably Valtteri, just because.
I would assume, without seeing anything, just knowing him, I would assume Valtteri.
Yeah, 100%.
Or Alex. I could see Alex having a good...
Yeah, he's having a good season. He's just going out chilling. Him and Lily are just doing
his
their thing.
smoking hot girlfriend, traveling the world. Maybe he caught a couple LPGA events.
Yeah, they went and did some golfing. Yeah.
I'm sure Charles had a good one. Lewis, I think, always has good good summer breaks.
Yeah, he did post some training footage, I think. So he's
But you just know he's out there slaying.
just having a great time.
If
Hanging out with Shakira.
Yeah, if Fernando Alonso rumors are true, and he's been on the Taylor Swift World Tour,
He's been on the Eras Tour.
he's been, to SoFi, he's been to whatever other stadiums. He could have had the summer of his life doing the Swiftie Tour, if those rumors are true.
If. Okay, so last one.
Well, let's go Val. Let's say Valtteri had the best.
Valtteri. Okay, yeah, I'm with it. So last one is by Anonymous. It says, Channing, is it true that at a now closed Big Bear karting track, you lost to Brandon and then complained and blamed it on the poor performance on the kart itself and not yourself?
Did you beat me there?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
That's the question. I don't know.
From Anonymous.
Yeah.
Can we track the IP on where that came from?
I mean, I can look into it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna need you to check that.
Okay.
I mean that's hearsay until we can actually get those results, because I remember my cart getting switched with our friend Danny's. The numbers were wrong. They put me in the wrong cart because it goes by cart number. And so my results were actually mixed with his, and he finished higher than me. I don't remember where you and I placed in that race. I know I beat you in the Grand Prix for my birthday at K1 because I placed third.
Well, this question is specifically about Big Bear.
The only thing I remember is making a very nice undercut pass on Cole, coming out of one of the chicanes, and then T-boning Nathan and getting damn near whiplash in that pileup.
Yeah, well, I've been hearing a lot of blaming and
What do you mean you've been hearing it?
Right now, as you've been...
Where are you hearing this? In these own fucking DMs that you're sending to our Spotify under fake names like Carlos and Angela? Veronica?
In your description.
What? Who are these fake people that you got from a Guess Who board?
It's all real. I don't know what you're talking about.
You posed 5 fake questions on our Spotify under aliases just so you can get to this one question about a go-kart race from 4 years ago at your bachelor party?
Absolutely not.
Bullshit.
I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. If you don't want to answer, it's fine. The rumor, it's out there. So, everybody can just believe what they want to believe.
I don't think you've ever beat me in a go-kart race.
I mean, according to this question that we got.
Well, I'm getting reports that your nickname is Brandon Cottonfoot Wood, and I'm Leadfoot. That's what I just heard right now.
I'm just reading what they sent. So
what's the question?
The question is it true that you lost to Brandon and then complained and blamed the poor performance on the kart itself?
No, that's not true.
Okay, well, the rumor's out there, so people will just have to look into it and do some research and make a decision for themselves.
This is a karting track that you said doesn't even exist anymore, so how do we know this event even happened? How can you prove that?
I mean, I'm just reading.
A go-kart track that's gone? This sounds like an episode of Scooby-Doo.
It's
an abandoned go-kart track?
I don't know what to tell you. It was one of the questions. So,
since when can you ask questions on Spotify?
I don't know. It's on there.
Where?
On Spotify.
I'm going to look this up in the middle of the show. Okay. So the answer is no. I don't think that happened.
Okay. Should we get into our predictions?
Sure. What the fuck are these questions? Holy shit, you can ask questions.
So, anyways, bold predictions for the 2023 Dutch Grand Prix this weekend in Zandvort. I'm going to go I don't know how bold this is going to be, but I'm going to say McLaren back on the podium.
One or two of them. I think if you're going to make that prediction, you have to pick a number.
It's got to be. It's probably just one.
One?
Yeah.
That takes away one of mine. I will say... I'm going to go off the board with my prediction.
Okay.
And this is going to be unrace related, but I'm going to say we're going to see a protest.
A protest
at the track this weekend.
Okay. I think
global tensions are high, and somebody's going to glue their hand to something in Zandvort. Yeah. I get the feeling.
It was on
there was a protest there last year, right?
Was it there last year?
There was Silverstone.
Yeah, I know that potentially at Silverstone this year they were worried about that. Yeah. So maybe the protesters just decided to wait a few weekends to...
Are we going to see orange flares?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're banned. They're not...
They were banned last year, too.
I know.
So...
But is the track going to crack down, or do you think they're going to fold?
I think they'll fold. I think they're going to be sneaking them in.
They can't be doing anything about
it. Yeah, they're going to go through everybody's backpack.
They're going to check everybody's pants.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no way.
So my second one, although it will be a home race for him, Max will not qualify on pole.
Ooh. Okay. That actually cuts into my second prediction. We're going to have to tentatively, or the Venn diagram, we're going to have to mix here a little bit, because I'm going to say Lando Norris will qualify on pole.
What? I mean, it's going to be a good weekend for them. High downforce circuit. It's going to be cool.
Banking.
There might be a little rain, a little wetness. I think it could be good for Lando, especially. You know, he's good in the wet. Well, I mean, we had
there's
that one.
There's one glaring asterisk.
I mean, that wasn't just his call. It was a team call to stay out on the slicks. So he doesn't.
That was 100% his call. They just allowed it.
Allowed it to happen. Okay, whatever. But anyways,
he does still drive well in the wet, but he wasn't on wet tires.
Yeah. So my third one, we're about a year out from when George took his win in Brazil. I think George has had a rough go, and I think he's going to be coming into this race feeling refreshed from the break. And I think he's going to perform better than Lewis Hamilton this weekend.
I can see that. I mean, as always,
I
don't want... That's the thing, is like, he's due. If you're playing the odds of a slot machine and somebody loses for 2 hours, you got to play a couple spins on that slot machine.
As much as I am not a big fan of George, I feel like he's due. And
this is the George Russell hater fan club.
And with this break, this is an opportunity for him to come in refreshed. And if he doesn't make it happen now, I don't know if it's ever going to happen the rest of the year. If he doesn't get an edge on Lewis now, it's not happening.
I think he's already lost this season to Lewis, which is hilarious, because all I can ever think about is the lie detector test that they did on ABC Sports. Or it might have been like Skynet, the global, what's it called? Sky Sports? Skynet, yeah, Terminator.
We'll eventually be Skynet.
Yeah, Terminator. Or Sky Sports, the interview that they did with him saying that he's faster than Lewis Hamilton now. And I mean, immediately from there on out, Lewis has just been beating the shit out of him. So that was your second one, is that George is going to outperform Lewis?
That was my third. Second was Max not on pole.
Oh, right.
And then for qualifying, and then the McLaren podium.
My third is going to be... God, I want to go off the board a little bit. You think we can see Aston Martin show up a little bit this weekend?
That's a big if. I don't know, man. I haven't seen anything that would make me think that they're going to be having a big leap in pace, but it could be just like a good qualifying weekend for them, and could see them up around like 4 or 5 area, like just outside the podium. But I don't know.
I'm gonna go like this. An Alpine will finish top 5.
Alpine top 5. Wow.
Yeah. Because this seems like the right time for them to get one of those weird little glimmers of hope, like in the midst of this tire fire that they're going through.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, things might not be looking so bad.
Yeah.
They have this promising race. And I think Esteban Ocon has been having himself such a quietly good season.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him putting in a really good race here, especially if it's a little wet. You know, a la Monaco earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of fuckery happening on the track.
Yeah. I don't know if I'll hold you to it for the prediction, but if you had to pick which Alpine driver,
It would be Esteban.
Esteban, okay.
Yeah. I don't think Pierre's getting anything done this year.
He's got the pace, but I don't know if he's been able to execute. Esteban's he's been consistent, but he always lucks out somehow. Like he just for being there, he gets to take advantage of
100%. But I mean,
mistakes.
that's what being part of the mid pack is. You know,
100%.
Is being there at the right time, being consistently in place to fill in a hole for when those big guys fall through. I'm sure there's like a sexier prediction I could have made, but that's what came to my head.
I think it's a good one. It's pretty bold.
Yeah.
So cool. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on?
I don't think so. How much longer is Zandvort on the calendar for? Do you know what their contract is? Did they sign a big one? Because they kind of just got put back in the recent years, right? This is their second year back? Third year back?
Zandvort F1.
It's not really important. I was just thinking about it.
We'll continue to race Zandvort until 2025.
Okay. Nice.
So, yeah, it's a cool place.
How much are you expecting the Orange Army to be out in force this year?
It'll be huge. I mean,
it's going to be fucking insane.
Yeah, I mean, especially with how well Max is doing this year, they're going to be just raging.
You think we get any more doofuses throwing the flares on track?
It's possible. You know,
that one guy got called out so hard on social media, though, that if I even had an inkling of throwing a flare onto the track, I would just think of that guy and how big of a fucking idiot he looked after doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
that alone should keep somebody. That guy got completely dragged.
Did somebody pour a beer on him?
He probably got pummeled, and I'm sure he got kicked out.
Yeah.
If you remember the video, the dumbass steps down the stairs of the grandstand.
So you can get closer, yeah.
Throws it, and then is just kind of like a spotlight on him. The camera turns, and he's just standing there with his hands on his hips. Yeah, he thought he had like done something great, and everybody was just like, "You fucking idiot!"
Yeah, and they just shut the race down for.
Yeah, it shut the race down for. That was during what, formation?
Formation lap, yeah.
Yeah, don't throw shit. Okay, stop throwing things on track. Stop throwing things on fields. Stop throwing things at performers.
Yeah, if you're gonna throw anything, throw a comment on this video, like and subscribe.
If you're going to throw anything, throw a red shell at George Russell's car.
Throw a blue shell.
I like your attempt at getting traction. Yeah, throw us a couple likes. Throw us a subscription.
Yeah, throw us a tip. We really need it.
You can tip on our With Koji.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
You can buy a t-shirt.
Did you know you can put whatever comments you want on Spotify?
Yeah, well, you can submit
even
questions.
If it's fake news?
I just ask the questions that the people...
Do you know that that's a political tactic?
What?
It's like a slander. That's a smear campaign is what it is.
What?
Posing a question to force your opponent to have to answer it. I could be like, I mean, it comes from this old...
Is that like the do your parents know you're gay kind of thing?
I guess, kind of. But
Yeah.
it was an old... I forget which election it was, where they posed a question like, is it true that you fuck goats?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And now you have to address, like, no, I don't fuck goats.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what happened here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I guess we'll leave it at that. It remains to be seen. We can always head out to another track and solve that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Deal.
So next week,
Next week, what?
we'll reconvene and talk about the race.
Okay. This is getting tense. We will be back next week after the Dutch Grand Prix. This has been Into the Chicane, the pre-Dutch Grand Prix edition. We'll see you guys maybe on the track.
Let's do it.
I got to clear my name. Peace.
Peace.